Hello everyone, in this video we will dig deeper about the topic the blame game. Why people talk, control, accuse but rarely accept responsibility. In our homes, at work, on social media and even in casual conversations, it's easy to hear people blaming others, criticizing, pointing fingers, or trying to control someone else's behavior. But how often do we hear someone say, "It's my fault," or "I take full responsibility"? Rarely. This is not because people are unaware of their mistakes. In fact, deep down, most people know when they have done wrong. The real difficulty lies in accepting the truth and owning it. But why is it so hard for human beings to take accountability? What causes this resistance? Let us explore the inner dynamics, both psychological and emotional, that lead humans to talk, blame, accuse, and control, but struggle to look inward. The fragile ego and the fear of being wrong. At the root of this behavior is the ego, our mental construct of self, the voice in our head that tells us who we are and how we should be perceived. The ego loves to feel right. It wants to be seen as good, smart, competent, and respectable. Any mistake we make threatens this self-image. So instead of acknowledging at fault, the ego scrambles to protect itself by projecting the fault outward toward others. When a person identifies strongly with being a good partner, a responsible parent, a wise leader, even a small criticism can feel like an attack on their entire identity. Admitting they were wrong becomes unbearable, not because they are evil, but because their inner sense of self feels too fragile to survive that admission. So the ego does what it knows best: defend, deny, deflect. The shame that silences the soul. Alongside ego, shame plays a powerful role in shaping human behavior. Shame is one of the most painful emotions we experience. The deep sense that we are flawed, unworthy, or bad. For many, mistakes are not simply things to learn from, they are triggers for shame. And shame is often born in childhood. If a child grows up in an environment where errors are punished harshly, where love feels conditional on being perfect, then the child learns one lesson: never admit fault. As adults, these people may become defensive, controlling, or accusatory, not because they lack morals, but because shame terrifies them. Blaming others is often a way to escape from the unbearable inner feeling of "I'm not good enough." The illusion of control. Control is a coping mechanism. When people feel anxious or uncertain, they often try to control their surroundings, including other people. The mother might scold her child for acting out, not because she is cruel, but because she is secretly afraid her child is drifting away. A manager may micromanage his team because he's terrified of failure. A partner may criticize their spouse constantly because they are afraid of emotional abandonment. Blame and control can give us a false sense of security. If we believe the problem is out there, we don't have to confront our own vulnerability or helplessness. But over time, this behavior damages relationships. It builds walls instead of bridges. Learned behavior society trains us to blame. Blaming others is often a learned behavior. If we grow up in the environments where accountability is punished, vulnerability is mocked, and mistakes are weaponized, then naturally we develop emotional armor. From parents who shame instead of guide, to school systems that focus on punishment over reflection, to cultures that see apologies as weakness, the message is clear. Never let them see you wrong. Add to this rise of social media, where any misstep can lead to a public outrage or humiliation, and you get the society addicted to defensiveness and finger pointing. Online apologies are rarely met by compassion. Instead, they become ammunition for more attack, and so people become even more reluctant to admit their flaws. We live in the culture of perfectionism and performative goodness, where looking right is more important than being real. Emotional immaturity. Many adults have grown physically, but not emotionally. Emotional maturity means being able to hold uncomfortable truths, to apologize, to see both sides of the story, and to make peace with one's imperfections. But emotional immaturity is widespread. Immature people don't know how to sit with guilt. They don't know how to say I was wrong without falling into self-hatred. So instead, they lash out, justify, or manipulate. They confuse accountability with punishment, and so they avoid it at all costs. This immaturity often comes from a lack of emotional education. Most people are never taught how to process their feelings, how to repair conflict, and how to regulate their reactions. So they repeat the only pattern they know: avoid, attack, blame. Power through accusation. Blaming others can create a sense of superiority. When we accuse someone else, we place ourselves on moral high ground. We become the victim, the innocent, the wise one, while other becomes the wrongdoer. This power dynamic is seductive. It allows us to feel righteous without having to look inward. In relationships, this can be especially toxic. Spouses may fall into a pattern of mutual blaming, where each feels justified in their hurt but never is willing to own their part. This leads to emotional distance, resentment, and eventually breakdowns in trust and intimacy. True love, whether in friendships or romance, cannot survive in an atmosphere of constant accusation. Love needs truth, and truth begins with self-honesty. The silent cost of avoiding responsibility, avoiding accountability may feel safe for a short term, but in the long run, it eats away at our inner peace. We cannot grow if we are always dodging the mirror. We cannot become better if we don't first admit we are falling short. Relationships suffer when both people spend more energy proving that they are right than learning how to be kind. Whole families, teams, even societies can be destroyed by the refusal of take responsibility. No one learns, no one heals. Everyone just defends their own position more fiercely. And worst of all, we lose trust in ourselves. Deep down, we know when we have taken an easy way out, and that knowledge haunts us. Healing begins with ownership. The way out of blame cycle is not through force or shame, but through courage and compassion. Courage to face our own shadows. Compassion for the parts of ourselves that are still learning. Taking responsibility doesn't mean taking all of the blame. It means recognizing our part, however small, and choosing to respond with integrity. It's saying, yes, I contributed to this problem, and I want to help fix it. This kind of accountability builds trust. It opens space for healing. It encourages others to also own their truth, and slowly we move from blame to dialogue, from accusation to understanding. Practicing accountability in daily life. Start small. The next time you catch yourself blaming someone else, pause, ask yourself, what am I really feeling? What am I afraid of? Is there a part of I play in this situation? Be honest with yourself, even if you don't say it out loud right away. Over time, begin to share your self-awareness with others. Say things like, I overreacted, I'm sorry. You were right, I wasn't listening. This didn't go the way I hoped, but I take responsibility for my part. These moments of humility are powerful. They don't make you weak, they make you real. The freedom of responsibility. True freedom does not come from always being right. It comes from being whole. As wholeness includes the messy, imperfect, flawed parts of ourselves. When we take responsibility, we step into the full humanity. We no longer need to hide, pretend, or control. We no longer see others as enemies to defeat or as fellow humans, also struggling, also learning. A society that values accountability is a society that heals. A relationship where both people can admit fault is a relationship that thrives. And a person who can look in the mirror and say, I mess up, but I'm still worthy of love, is the person who is truly free. Final thought. We all talk, we all blame, we all at times try to control what we cannot. That is human. But the invitation life gives us again and again is to return to responsibility, not to shame ourselves, not to carry on the world's burdens, but to walk gently toward truth, the truth of who we are, what we feel, and what can we do differently next time. And in that quiet act of ownership, we grow. And in that growth, we become the kind of people who no longer need to plan because we have found something greater than control. We found inner peace. Thank you so much, and I hope you like this video. Please click like and subscribe. Thank you.